Hello, Leo, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. I have the tarot deck that I'll be using already shuffled, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Leo, in your recent past, you have what do you need to release with the Five of Swords in reverse. This Five of Swords in reverse is a need to release this you against the world mentality. It can also represent to me kind of getting out of survival mode, letting go of victim mentality, which can kind of all mean the same thing. I do feel like there is a part of you, specifically this part of you that kind of came through in your recent past, where maybe you kind of feel like things aren't supposed to work out for you, or like you are deserving of lack, or you're deserving of loss, or abundance, or the type of abundance that you desire, or the life that you desire just isn't possible for you. And we all have a tendency to kind of slip into that mentality, to believe, as if we were just meant to struggle, or we're just meant to kind of survive instead of actually be able to thrive. But I feel like this is about changing that mindset and allowing yourself to experience the other side of life, because life isn't and does not have to be about survival. It doesn't have to be about just keeping your head above water. It really can be about having fun and enjoying your experience, and experiencing miracles and abundance happening for you, and things of that nature. But we also kind of have to shift that mindset and that perspective to experience that, which is difficult when you've spent so long experiencing survival mode and suffering and challenge, just life being very challenging. I'm not saying life isn't, there's never going to be a point where there aren't any challenges, but they certainly don't have to be, it doesn't have to affect you as much in a negative way. Now, in your current energy, you have nothing is yet set in stone with a death in reverse. So it's interesting, because one of my favorite things about this nothing is yet set in stone card is this realization and understanding that just because your life has been a certain way to this point, just because your love life has been a certain way, or your financial situation has been a certain way, that does not mean that solidifies your experience for the rest of your life. We have to remember that our circumstances are ever changing. They are absolutely temporary, and it's more about how we respond to them and the energy that we put into our circumstances that creates our future circumstances. There's no, I almost feel like I kind of said that it's like this, you've been in this energy of survival mode and of suffering for so long that to me it kind of feels like you feel as if that's all there is for you. But with this nothing is yet set in stone card, it's this need to understand that anything is possible, in a positive way too. I think sometimes we can feel like anything is possible, that uncertainty, there's only going to be negative things that happen. There's only fear and doubt and insecurity in that uncertainty. But in fact, that's actually not the case. Now, this death in reverse card is this need to make some changes, maybe changes you're hesitating making, whether that's to your mindset or to what you're investing in or how you're investing. And I feel like whatever those changes are, they are going to require you on some level to embrace uncertainty, which is, kind of goes along with the message that we were just talking about. When we live our lives trying to avoid uncertainty, we are living our lives in a place of fear. We are allowing fear and doubt to control our reality and our existence. But when we step out of this idea that uncertainty equals bad things, and we start to understand that uncertainty is where our power lies, because that's where miracles can happen. That's where the universe can have our back. That's where opportunities exist, because it's outside of our comfort zone. When we can start to recognize that, that's when our life starts to shift. That's when our life starts to change. And then in your immediate future, you do expect powerful change with the Ace of Pentacles. So I do feel like this is kind of like a shift that's being made. I don't know if it's a shift within or without yet. Now, if you have a shift that happens within, eventually that will be reflected in your circumstances. But I do feel like your life is shifting. You're in like a transformative period right now. And I think that on the other side of what you're experiencing is some really good stuff. So let's dive into the details here. That was just the overall energy. So let's see what Tarot has to say. All right, Leo, this is for your recent past. You have what do you need to release with the 5 of Swords in reverse. This is for Leo's recent past, please. Leo's recent past, please. One more. This is for Leo's recent past. Recent past for Leo. Does Leo need to know about their recent past? My goodness. Recent past for Leo. This feels specific. Recent past for Leo. Okay. Page of Cups in reverse and Page of Wands. The King of Cups in reverse and 6 of Wands in reverse. All right. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Leo, I feel as if you've had a tendency to limit yourself and your expectations for your life to the limitations that other people have placed on you. You know, if you've experienced, even starting in childhood, just this energy of not fully believing like your dreams matter, like they're possible, or you've experienced this energy of, you know, never really experiencing being loved unconditionally, or whatever the case is, and you've taken these experiences from childhood and you've started to believe them, believe the way that other people have limited you. And I feel like that energy has kept you in believing that things are never going to get better, or you're never going to get to where you're going, or you're never going to have what it is that you deserve. And it's really important that we remember that, you know, yes, our beliefs are absolutely the root of our results. What we believe about ourselves, what we believe about our reality is absolutely what we end up experiencing. But we also have to remember that 95%, almost 100% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious patterns, our subconscious beliefs. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is actually conscious. So those subconscious beliefs are going to be made up of beliefs that you have internalized about your experience based on how you have, based on what you've experienced. So your relationship with your parents, your understanding of what success is from an early age, you know, what you've learned to believe about what's possible for you just based on society. You know, all of these things become what it is that you believe about yourself and your reality and your path. Now, when you allow your experience to limit what is possible for you, then you stay stuck in always experiencing the same outcomes. You experience the same patterns and same outcomes because you believe that that's all that there is. So, really long-winded way of saying that you have really been selling yourself short about what you are capable of and what is possible for you based on what you have learned about what you're capable of and what is possible for you. Now, one of the things that is the most important on our journey to creating the life that we desire is we not only have to learn to believe that we are capable and deserving and whatever it is that we desire is possible, but we also have to unlearn all of the ways that we've been taught to believe that that's not the case. And that's why healing and manifestation is so intrinsically linked. All right, recent past for Leo. Recent past for Leo. Recent past for Leo, please. Recent past for Leo. Recent past for Leo, please. The 5 of Wands, Page of Cups in reverse, and then there's that. So this is adding on to the message from before. Yeah, okay. of Wands is an interesting card to me because it speaks of one of the most interesting things about being a human being, which is the fact that we have a tendency to resist our own abundance. We have a tendency to settle for less than what it is that we deserve and less than what it is that we desire, because a part of us is actually afraid of that success, afraid of that happiness, afraid of that fulfillment, because we've never experienced it. Again, so much about our reality is about learning how to survive, learning how to keep your head above water, learning how to struggle and overcome. That the thought of not living in that reality, the thought of living in an abundant reality, one where you can lean into ease, one where the universe has your back, one where things can actually work out for you and even better than you can even imagine, that reality, it's easier to say, oh, that's not possible, because we're actually pretty afraid of it, because your ego really likes to have control over what it is that you're experiencing. And so your ego wants to know exactly how things are going to feel. And the truth of the matter is, and based on what you've experienced in your past, Leo, your ego's pretty used to that survival. In fact, it's so used to it that it actually prefers it because it knows it can survive. It likes the struggle, it likes the pain, it likes the suffering, because it knows exactly what that's going to feel like, exactly what that experience is going to be like, and exactly how to overcome it. And so there's this part of you that believes as if this survival, this struggle, this almost like fight with your life, that is as good as it can get for you, and all that's possible. And so whether or not you are aware of it, up until this point, or at least in regard to this reading, you have actively been choosing it. And that is something that I think is so interesting about humans, is when we believe that we have to struggle and we have to suffer, a part of us will actually actively seek it out in, abusive relationships, in toxic relationships, or in jobs that don't serve us or make us happy, or whatever the case is, because it's, there's this part of us that believes that is what is necessary in order to survive. Reset past for Leo. Now, this is all your past. This is all your past. Reset past for Leo. But I do still feel like you're dealing with some of this energy in your current energy too. Reset past for Leo, please. Recent past for Leo. Two of Cups, Eight of Cups in reverse, Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so this is really interesting, because in this past energy that you've been dealing with, there's this hopelessness associated with it. Like this energy, this situation, or this path, or whatever the case is, it doesn't bring you joy. It certainly doesn't add to your peace. In fact, I feel almost as if it's the opposite. I feel as if it takes away from your peace. I feel as if it takes away from your potential. But a part of you, or maybe even all of you, depending on what the case is, spent a long time prioritizing it. A path, a relationship, something that actually made you feel worse. I don't know if it's out of obligation. I don't know if it's because you thought it was as good as it would get for you. I'm not quite sure. But it does definitely feel like this isn't even just accepting less than what you deserve. This is like accepting what makes you feel worse in a way. Choosing survival, choosing struggle over peace. And maybe you weren't even aware that you were doing it. Maybe you thought that's just how it was supposed to go, or what things were supposed to be like, or something. But it doesn't. I can certainly tell you that. And that's why you have nothing as yet set in stone, because just because things have been a certain way for you does not mean that they have to be like that forever. Or just because that's all you've experienced. Like, for instance, when you experience a toxic, unhealthy relationship in the form of your parents or your caretakers, that's your first example of what a relationship is. So then when you get to the age where you start dating, you start experiencing toxic relationships, and to you it's very normal, because you're like, well, that's what I've seen, that's what I've experienced. And then, that becomes normalized in your experience, so you start attracting toxic relationships, and you start experiencing, them maybe getting worse or in different forms or whatever the case is. And there's a part of you that might believe like, oh, this is just how relationships are. This is just what things are supposed to be like. And the only reason you think that way is because that's all you've ever experienced, which is a valid reason, right? I'm not saying like you're not valid in your way of thinking. What I am saying is you don't have to think that way. That doesn't have to be true. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this has to do with relationships at all. The same thing can be said for like, you watch your parents struggle through a 9-to-5 that they absolutely hate just to pay the bills. And then when you kind of head down your path, you go to school or don't, whatever the case is, you get into a job and you hate that job and you're miserable every single day, but you have to work it to pay the bills. And you think that that's as good as it can get because that's all you've experienced. Like, that's what this feels like, is you've experienced so much struggle since you were a kid that a part of you believes that that is as good as it can get. So there's a part of you that's choosing it because you think that that's the only way. And that's why I feel like there is this need to shift not just your mindset and your perspective on that, but also shift your belief system around like what is possible for you. Current energy for Leo, nothing is yet set in stone with the Death in reverse. Current energy for Leo, nothing is yet set in stone with the Death in reverse. Current energy for Leo. So you're stuck in a cycle. You're stuck in a cycle here. Because the struggle, the survival, has become your comfort zone. It's actually, which is such a backwards thing, right? You would think the struggle and the survival would be outside not your comfort zone. But it's become your comfort zone because, well, to be quite honest with you, you've gotten pretty good at it. Look how far it's gotten you. You're alive today. You're watching this video right now. You've survived. You've survived 100% of the worst days that you've ever had, right? But one of the coolest things that happened to me when I had a spiritual awakening, because I had a pretty rough childhood, that kind of carried through to my early adulthood, was that, and it sounds very just blunt and kind of dark, but one of the coolest things that happened was my realization that life didn't have to suck. Life didn't have to be hard. It could be challenging and it could push me to grow, but it didn't have to be hard. I didn't have to live in a world of depression and anxiety. I didn't have to live in a world of lacking fulfillment and, waiting for the days where I could escape my reality through the weekends or vacations or holidays or whatever the case is. I realized through my spiritual journey, I could actually enjoy my life and my existence. Now, it's crazy to me looking at kind of the bigger picture, because it's been a while since I kind of had that awakening and I've been on this path. It's interesting looking at people now and how normalized struggle and survival really is, because most people are living in that place of, this is as good as it can get for me, so this is what I must accept. And that that gets kind of passed down from generation to generation to generation, and sure, there's spiritual awakenings happening, and then, people do end up changing, but the more, the whole thank God it's Friday thing, right? That's such a known thing. Thank God it's Friday, thank God it's the weekend, but it's so interesting to me how I've learned to understand and now experience in my life that isn't a healthy way of living your life. You shouldn't feel like you're always waiting for the escape or waiting for things to get better or waiting for relief. You shouldn't feel like you're waiting for relief from your existence. And that, Leo, is, I feel like, the way that you've been living your life, at least until this point. But this is about now making changes to get out of that mindset from that place to a place of abundance. And when I talk about abundance, a lot of people assume that I mean financially, like I'm talking about a financial situation, but abundance it comes in all forms. It's an abundance of love, an abundance of peace, an abundance of, being able to wake up every single day excited for your day, excited for what that day holds, being in the flow with the universe, being able to trust in times of uncertainty, not allowing your fear and your anxiety to control you. That's what abundance really is. It's not just about your material life and material world. And so I do feel like this is a really important period in your life of this is an important transformative period from going from one way of living to another. And it could just be about one aspect, like in your relationships or in your career. It doesn't have to be a huge life transformation, but it certainly could be. Because usually when you stop settling in one area of your life, you're going to stop settling in others. Current energy for Leo. Ten of Wands with the Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay, I know what this is. I want a little bit more on this. Ten of Wands with the Queen of Cups in reverse. I mean, this is absolutely talking about a lack mindset. Expecting disappointment, expecting lack, expecting struggle, and allowing those expectations to dictate your reality. I saw this Facebook post, and it was, just one of those ones that goes around. It was kind of funny because it actually impacted me in a pretty big way. And it said, if you believe it's possible, you'll see opportunity. If you don't believe it's possible, you'll see obstacles. When you believe that the life that you desire, the abundance that you desire, is possible, you see opportunity and solutions and potential. When you don't feel or believe that the life that you desire is possible, you're going to see obstacles and blockages and reasons why you can't do it and reasons why you shouldn't and limitations. And either way, you are going to be 100% right. And that understanding can start to make you see that if you are not living the life that you desire, if you are not living in a world, in a reality that you desire, it is because a part of you does not believe it's possible, doesn't believe that you're capable, doesn't believe that you're deserving. And getting to the root of that and understanding, okay, I don't believe it's possible because I've never experienced it, and this is what I have experienced, and then healing that root is the way to start to shift the mindset and shift the perspective, because this really is, Leo, about getting out of your own way. I feel when I say that, it can be very triggering to people because they can think that I'm saying, oh, it's your fault that you're living this life. It's your fault that your life has turned out this way. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Your trauma and how you've come to internalize your experiences and the life that you have lived is not your fault. Your trauma is not your fault. However, if you want things to change, you are the only person who can do that. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And it comes with being willing to embrace the uncertainty of life, the uncertainty of what could be, and taking steps in that direction instead of choosing the struggle because there is a level of certainty in it. Now, if you don't make that choice, if you don't make those changes, if you don't do things different, you're going to experience the same outcomes, the same feelings, the same emotions, the same lessons, the same relationships, even if they're in different people. And things are never going to change. So, I feel like in a lot of readings, it's always, oh, these big changes are happening and your life is going to change forever and blah, 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 blah. And, yes, though the energy can set you up for that, at the end of the day, the ability to make tangible, sustainable change in your life falls on you. And you have, yes, it's your ability that can feel like a lot of pressure, but it's really cool when you start to internalize that to say, wow, if I'm not living the life that I desire, it's because I don't believe it's possible, which means if I want to live the life that I desire, then I need to start to figure out how I can believe that it's possible, and then start to make the shifts and the changes that you need to make to get there. Current energy for Leo, please. So releasing yourself from a lack mindset, releasing yourself from a survival mindset, starting to adopt an abundance mindset, whether that's through leaning into faith of a spiritual connection of your own understanding. I'm not talking about a specific God. It could be God, spirit, universe, higher self, ancestors. Literally doesn't matter. Anything that you feel comfortable putting your faith into and starting to experience the miracles that can come from that. Current energy for Leo, please. Current energy for Leo, please. I want it to turn all the way around or hit the table. Current energy for Leo, please. The Sun in reverse. And there's the ego. Your ego's holding you back. Your ego's allowing you to believe your fear. Sun in reverse, Chariot in reverse, and the Moon. Because the truth of the matter, Leo, is if you're not living in the sun, if you're not living in the fulfillment, if you're not living in abundance, then you're living in fear. And getting to the root of that is what this reading is all about. Your ego is holding you back from what it is that you truly desire, from the life that you truly want, by keeping you in the same patterns, in the same behaviors, in the same comfort zone. Because though it's painful, it's familiar, it's predictable, you can survive it. I often get a lot of people who will comment on my love readings. This can be applied to your love life, but it's not technically a love reading. I've only ever had relationships with emotionally unavailable people. There's no such thing as an emotional available person. There's no such thing as someone who can meet me at the level I am emotionally. And it's always interesting to me when I see those comments, how when someone is typing them out and posting that, they're literally admitting to their patterns, but part of them doesn't even realize that they're doing that, right? And obviously I'm not going to call anyone out in the comments or say anything like that. It's just interesting how we as humans work, how, we see, okay, I only ever attract emotionally unavailable people. Then what is the reason for that? Where does the reason lie? What is the lesson there? If you're experiencing the same situation over and over again, there's a pattern there that is waiting to be broken. But oftentimes when we're in this victim survival mentality, we like to say, this is what's happening to me. This is what I am experiencing and I have absolutely no control over it. Instead of saying, okay, if everything happens for me, not to me, including this situation that freaking sucks, then what is this trying to teach me? What can I learn from this to help me elevate my life in a way that can lead me to more and better? When we can start to make that shift, our reality will start to change. But we have to be willing to look at things from that perspective, which is not a fun perspective, let me tell you, because it is one that makes you face yourself, that makes you face your limitations and your trauma and the uncomfortable emotions that come with that. So that's why most people are living in a place of survival, because most people don't want to face that stuff. Understandably so. But facing it is the only way to no longer letting it control you. Immediate future for Leo, expect powerful change with the Ace of Pentacles. This is for Leo's immediate future, please. Leo's immediate future, please. I like this, though. I like this for you, Leo. Immediate future for Leo, expect powerful change. Woohoo! Look at that new beginning. the Fool, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles again with the Seven of Wands. Okay. I mean, see, the Seven of Wands to me is like determination to the point of stubbornness. And yes, that can be a not so good energy. Like relentlessness, I guess is a good way to put that. That can be a not so good energy, but it can also be a very good energy if directed in the right direction. When you become absolutely unapologetic about the life that you deserve in your relationships and your career path, whatever form, when you become unapologetic about what it is that you want and you start standing up for that by saying, I'm not going to accept less than what I deserve, I'm not going to ignore red flags, I'm not going to allow myself to be taken advantage of or mistreated for the sake of something, and you start saying, I'm going to set boundaries in association with my worth, and I'm going to choose myself in all aspects of my life, your life will quite literally start to meet you there. There really is so much truth to we accept what we think we deserve. We often accept less than what it is that we desire because we think it's all that we deserve. And we think it's all that we deserve because it's what we've been taught that we deserve through our trauma and through our experiences. And so breaking down where you've limited yourself about, to believe what to believe about your reality can start to help you in recognizing the areas of your life that you are settling, that you are choosing less. Because you're afraid, if I don't choose this, what if nothing better comes along? If I don't settle for this, what if I end up broke and homeless on the street? We allow ourselves to live in the possibility of what could go wrong. Instead of embracing the uncertainty and saying, the unknown, outside of my comfort zone, in the unknown, that's where miracles happen. That's where the universe has the ability and the chance to guide me to where it is that I am meant to be. Uncertainty is a very scary thing to the ego, but it's a very freeing thing for your soul. So trying to learn the difference between, ego guidance and fear, starting to differentiate between that and your soul voice, your intuition, your divine guidance. Immediate future for Leo, because if you can choose this life, and it can apply to, either one aspect of your life or many, then to me what this is saying is the universe will meet you there. If you start actively choosing more for yourself, the universe is going to meet you there. Immediate future for Leo. So a new beginning, a new opportunity, powerful new opportunity. Immediate future for Leo, please. Two of Wands with the Knight of Cups in reverse. If you are not afraid of the direction that you are headed, you are probably going the wrong way. Now, what I mean by that is if you are not facing your fears, doubts, and your insecurities for the sake of the potential of what your life could be, then you're probably settling. We are most afraid of the path that is meant for us, because the path that is meant for us is the path that requires us to meet ourselves at the deepest level, to meet our fears, to meet our shadow self, to meet our insecurities, and to get to know them pretty freaking well, and to get to know them so well that you're able to say, I recognize you, but I am not going to allow you to dictate my movements, choices, and decisions. And that path is the freaking road less traveled. It is the path that most people avoid for good reason. It's a scary freaking path, but there is so much payoff, so much good that can come from choosing the path that you are the most afraid of. In a good way. It's the path towards what you desire that is the scariest. Seriously, it is, because we're so afraid. A lot of people will say, I'd rather just have dreams, maybe not on a conscious level, but I'd rather just have dreams and not pursue them, because if I have dreams, they're still possible. if I pursue them and fail, they're not possible anymore. But the flip side to that is that failure is never a destination. Failure is a stepping stone. Failure is a lesson. Your destination isn't the point. The journey is the point, right? So if you're experiencing failure and loss and lack, you're literally just in the middle of a journey. So when you get knocked down, you're able to say, okay, what am I here to learn from this? What is this trying to teach me so that I can move forward? It's not the universe saying, no way, you can't have this. You're not deserving of it. You're not good enough for it. It's not meant for you. Choose the path that feels the scariest, but also makes you feel the most excited. That's the path that your heart is trying to guide you toward. Immediate future for Leo, and maybe you are choosing that path. Maybe you are choosing that path, and this is just confirmation. Immediate future for Leo, please. It's very powerful reading for very powerful reading for very powerful Leos out there. Immediate future for Leo. Don't focus on what could go wrong. Oh gosh, yeah, I can't tell you how many times I see this message in a reading. There's so many ways. This is what I've learned. There are so many ways that things can go wrong. There are so many ways that you can get heartbroken, so many ways you can lose, so many ways you can fail, so many ways that you can, things can be bad. But there are equally as many ways, if not more, ways that things can go right. There are ways that things can be good. There are ways that things can work out. There are ways that you are supported. And again, I feel like I've already said this a few times in the reading, but it's really important. Whichever one you focus on is going to be the reality that you experience. What is it, like the kind of cheesy quote, whether you believe you can or you cannot, you are right. It's true. Whether you believe it's possible or not, you're correct. Whether you believe you're deserving or not, you're correct. That's going to be what you experience. So if that's the case, what are you going to choose to believe? And where are you going to choose to allow those beliefs to take you? Because they can take you to some pretty cool places. So direct your focus from what could go wrong to what could go right. Uncertainty is a good thing. So much possibility lies in uncertainty. Oh boy. There we go. Put that on backwards. Dog's getting antsy. All right, Leo. Thank you so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, focus on some advice, and then the question we're focusing on in the extended is, what do you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Any information for that is in the description box below. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Leo, I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Leo.